This podcast is intended for adult audiences over the age of 18. It contains adult language and situations. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to us, and not of any employer, organization, committee, or other group or individuals. This podcast is not intended to be taken as professional advice.
Welcome to the TheSwingNation podcast, a podcast by swingers for swingers, where we look to educate others and push back on the negative stigmas and misconceptions associated with our lifestyle. Come with us and share our pineapple journey as we travel the globe, interview the experts, learn and grow together. Join the nation. So, Lacy, people are asking, how do they get to go to a party or an event with us?
They check out swingersociety.net, you create a profile, you sign up for an event, and you come hang out with us. It's super easy.
That's right. If you want to party with us and the other faces and names that you know from social media and TikTok, head on over to swingersociety.net.
Can't wait to see you there.
Hey there, Pineapple people, and welcome to the TheSwingNation podcast. We are your hosts, Northern Guy
And Southern Girl.
and we are back with another full-length episode of the TheSwingNation podcast.
We are.
And we are talking all things Bliss Cruise,
Yes.
or at least part 2 Bliss Cruise.
Yes.
So when we left you, we had left you on formal night,
Mm-hmm.
and we had just finished in a playroom
Yes.
With-
We saw swapped. Yeah.
with a Reno couple.
Yeah.
And a little DVP action.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that brings us to day 3,
Yeah.
which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was glow night.
It is. Can I say something though before we jump right in?
Sure.
I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to everyone in regards to last week's episode. By far, everyone was super supportive. I got dozens and dozens of texts, Snapchat, phone calls, emails. I mean, even from husbands emailing, and obviously lots of women that were like, I feel the same way, even like really close friends of mine. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. It's nice to know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. A lot of times I think, or at least right now with my dad, the situation, I'm like, oh, is it that? But it sounds like a lot of women go through this in their life at some point or the other. So it kind of is nice to know that I'm not alone out there. So thank you all for reaching out and making me feel like not good about the situation, but at least not so alone. So thank you. I just wanted to make sure I said that.
Right. And so if anybody doesn't know what Lacy's talking about, if for some reason this is the first episode you listened to, in the part 1, we had a pretty in-depth conversation about where you were in the lifestyle, how you felt about playing, if you were in the right headspace. And that seemed to have resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we often have things that kind of strike a nerve and multiple people will reach out and kind of talk to us about them. But that one.
Yeah. And it was almost
very much so.
immediately.
Yeah.
Thursday, shortly after it was released, I immediately started getting the messages and stuff. So y'all are wonderful. Thank you very much. I think I've seen like one negative.
Yeah, get therapy or something like that.
Yeah, and some medicine.
And of course, it's on Reddit.
Yeah, get medicine and take a break. Which, you know, I don't know. I have mixed emotions. Yeah, I have mixed emotions about that. But just so everybody's clear, I am medicated. Have been for a long time, and
you were doing your best to take care of your mental health.
yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So glow night.
Mm-hmm.
So before we kick off what we did on glow night, we probably should say that glow night is like a thing on Bliss Cruise.
It's the best party by far, and everybody looks forward to it. I will say, if I could make a critique to Bliss, is that they always do it on a night that we're in port. And so you're exhausted from the day. And then you have to basically unless you stay in, but you almost have to turn and burn and then have a wild night at night. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wish that they reserved this for a day at sea. But it is an epic party out on the deck. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Trying to think if I should say this or not. But I've had some conversations with some people in leadership at Bliss. And one of the ideas that got tossed around was actually doing the party on shore at night.
Yeah.
Which I think that would be.
Yeah, no, I think that would be really cool too. And I'm open to that. It feels like a very rushed day just because it's like, for instance, this was our first day off the ship. And so like getting off, getting back on, getting ready, it's just a lot. But I mean, you're also on a cruise. So it's kind of part of it.
Okay. So let's go through our day.
So this day we woke up in Dominican Republic, which is still up to debate if we've been there or not. I felt like we hadn't been there before. Dan thinks we have.
No, 100% we've been there before.
It's to be determined.
No, it's not to be determined. 100% we've been there before. After this recording, I'll show you a picture of us standing in front of the sign.
Okay. I believe you. So anyway, Bliss does these like Bliss sponsored catamaran rides, which are supposed to be like wild and crazy, and you can go nude or top, whatever you prefer. And they usually sell out like pretty quick.
And these did too, yeah.
Yeah, these did too. And so you kind of keep an eye out for them. And we had one booked for the last cruise, but I didn't really think about the time when I booked it. And it ended up we had to be like off the boat by 8 a.m. to like party. And we were like, absolutely not.
Yeah, we missed the last one we booked.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, well, let's try again. And since Daphne and Mike were going to be there, we knew we had like built-in friends to go with us. And this one was not till 11:30, so we were like, we can totally do this. This is totally doable. So we booked that. But then after we booked it, Bliss announced that they were hosting a pool party like on the island, because this island is like, it almost has like an adult water park minus the water slides.
Well, I think if it's not Bliss Cruise, kids too.
Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
So it's got like a lazy river. It's got bars with like a swim up.
Yeah, it's almost, it reminds me. So if you know, some of the cruise lines have like private islands.
Yeah.
Where they have, amusement parks and all this kind of stuff. This stop at the Dominican Republic is, you're in the Dominican Republic. You can do the shopping. You can go walk around downtown and all those things. But then like off to the side, there's like this private resort kind of. And it's got a nice pool. I don't really think
it's off to the side. It's kind of, in my opinion, right in the middle of it. But
no, like as soon as you get off the ship, it's right there off to the side. It's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And you don't have to buy tickets. It's all kind of included.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool stop. Probably one of my favorites.
Cool.
Cruise ship stops that we've done.
Yeah.
So anyway, they announced that they're going to do this pool party at the same time that we have the catamaran, and DJ Life of Spice was DJing the party.
And so we were like, well, what do we do? So we decided to just go on the catamaran, because our understanding was the pool party was going to be like most of the day. So we thought like if we're turned up from the catamaran, we'll just stop at the pool party.
Right, and keep partying.
Yeah, essentially. That's what we thought. So we went on the catamaran, and it was okay. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it wasn't what, it maybe we're spoiled, right? Because I'm definitely used to, when I'm thinking clothing optional catamaran, I'm thinking Hito.
Yeah.
And when we've done it at Hito with like Party Mark and stuff, it is wild. It's turned up. People are fucking. Party Mark usually brings a bag of toys, and he's got vibrators and motor bunnies, and people are just like
bouncing snacks off your dick. Like what you like?
Right.
We have a
the
video.
Hito catamarans have nude catamarans or clothing optional catamarans have been some of the wildest experiences that we've had in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I was expecting.
Yes. Now, don't get me wrong. I love that. And we've had some badass experiences like that. I also don't mind like a calm day, like just being on the water, getting to see the ocean.
Yeah, this felt more like nudist activity than it did swinger activity.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely everybody immediately took their top off. And don't get me wrong. We had a fine time. Like there was nothing wrong with it at all. I get pretty freaked out by the ocean just in general. I'm not like, I don't have a phobia or anything like that. I'll go in it. I'll do the things. I just kind of prefer not to. So there was several snorkeling opportunities. I got in the water. I wasn't going to snorkel, but got in the water one time, and I was like, this is just too much. So I went back in. So me and Daphne enjoyed sitting at the top and tanning and.
So you just rode around the boat with your top off, basically.
Yeah. Well, but we took pictures. So we started taking pictures of each other. You know, I mean, why not? What the hell are you going to do up there? We were drinking and eating snacks. And so one of the guys who works on the boat started.
No, that was the paparazzi.
Oh.
The tour guide said, when you get on the boat, the paparazzi is going to follow us. And what he means is photographer.
I didn't get
That's what so there was a local photographer that came on the tour boat.
Well, the first guy took our phones and took a couple of us together, which we obviously tipped him and said thank you because that was really sweet. But then the paparazzi guy came and he was taking all of these pictures. We are butt naked, captain's hat on, steering the boat. I mean, all the things. And then when it's done, he tries to get us to buy the pictures, which I didn't really think about it at the time, which I should have been smarter than that.
Yeah, you guys did a full-blown photo shoot with this guy. And then I get on the, me and Mike are snorkeling and I get on the boat and, we're going to get off the boat. And you're like, Dan, buy the pictures.
No, I actually didn't even ask you. I told him, no, thank you. I didn't, I didn't mind to tip him, but I wasn't going to give. I think he said $100.
Or a legit DSLR camera. So all the pictures are on his SD card. Mm-hmm. So it's not, he can't airdrop them to us. There's no, so he's like, oh, just give me your credit card and then I'll email them to you or I'll email you a link to download.
So he wanted us to give him write down the credit card information. And all of us were like, absolutely not. And even another lady on the boat, she came and found, she didn't come. I think we passed each other on another day. She said, did you ever get those pictures? I said, we didn't buy them because we were not going to give him our credit card information. And she was like, same. She was like, but I really, really wanted them. So we did all that. And then after the fact, we're thinking about it and we're like, holy shit, this guy has got all of these.
So now he has a whole SD card full of your nudes. Who knows where those are going to end up?
Thank God I don't care. I mean,
he's probably selling them. He probably that's probably the whole stick. Is he he's running an amateur porn site?
Okay, but let me just tell you, if you're going on a catamaran, don't let the guy take your pictures because you'll be scammed. Luckily for me, I'm pretty open. I don't really care.
Well, and he might have been legitimate, but I'm not if I had $50 cash, I probably would have gave it to him and just
known that you might lose it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much he was even asking. I don't think
it was $100.
$100. Okay. Yeah, and that's a lot. I don't know if I would have done that, but had I had the cash, maybe I would have gave it to him and been if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. But I'm not giving some random dude that in the Dominican Republic who I have no idea if he's even a legitimate photographer my credit card to go do whatever he wants with it. Yeah.
He was kind of like one of those guys that picks up your luggage and carries it for you and then gets mad at you when you don't
tip him. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like that. Different countries are different ways. Even when we got off the catamaran, they were pouring water on our feet
as we walk by. Yeah.
So the salt or the sand would be on our feet and they were wanting tips. It was kind of like that. He was pretty pushy. Yeah. No, it wasn't we went and found him hey, can you take pictures? He's he kept coming back.
But you did do a full blown. You did all the poses.
I did all the ones he'd asked me to do. Yes. I wasn't come over here and do this,
He's come put your pussy in my face and make a perfect picture.
No, he did not. Yeah. But he had I'm assuming their flag. He had us hold that. He had a captain's hat. He was come sit here. So we did. We did that.
Anyway, we never got the pictures.
Anyway.
Okay. So then we get off the ship. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, it's a half an hour drive.
Yeah.
From the port to where the ship was. It was fun. I don't know if I'd do it again.
No, I would not do it again.
Yeah.
I think I've learned on Bliss Cruise, and this is a tip for people, unless a big group of you are going and it's something that you've always wanted to do. If I was going to Bahamas, I would probably do swim with the piss because that's something I've always wanted to do. Uh-huh. But I would just probably Bliss is more not so much for the excursions and more just
right. Yeah. If you don't get very many opportunities to go on a cruise, like you're saying, and there's some excursion that just you're oh, that looks awesome. Go do it. But for the most part, these excursions are scams, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. We've found that we've had the most fun when we just get off the ship and walk around. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. So then we go back to the pool party and we're super pumped. We're oh, yeah, Life of Spice is going to be DJing. And it's going to be this nice, cool pool party on the beach in the Dominican Republic. Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
The whole party's gone.
And everybody's like,
getting ready to be fair, it was getting ready to rain.
Yeah. Everybody was like, oh, were y'all here? It was so cool.
It was so epic. It was amazing. The male dancers were out here dancing, and there was EDM music, and everybody was naked.
I was a little jealous.
Yeah, we totally missed.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But
we did.
It's like one of those choose your own adventure books. You know, have you ever done that? Mm-hmm. You read a book and it's like, okay, path A takes you down this dark pathway, and then you pick one and it's like you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still think it was fine. I love like being in like on a boat with my hair blowing and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. It probably would have made for a rougher night had we gotten drunk in the pool.
True.
But
true.
It is what it is. We know for next time.
Right.
So after that, we went back to the room. I think we grabbed like a snack and then like some pizza or something, and then went back to the room. And that was pretty much the day portion of the club. The night portion, you mentioned male revue. So this is something that I believe the new Bliss owners had added. I've never seen it in the past.
So this is our third Bliss cruise. I've never seen, on the other two, there was no male revue. So this is the first time we've experienced this.
Yeah. So it was like, and apparently like Dan said, they had danced at the pool. So it stirred up some excitement with the ladies. Everybody was talking about it. So me and Daphne really wanted to go. So we were like, let's us go and then y'all go to the casino, because I know Daddy Mike had really wanted to go. You wanted to go. So it was kind of like perfect.
Yes. Well, so you guys were like, oh, we're going to the male revue. And I was like, go have fun. I have no issues with that. And I would go like if, we were in Nashville and like everybody was going out to eat and doing this, like I would totally do it. I have no issues with, that. But we're on a cruise ship. There's 100 other things to do.
Yeah.
You guys go do that. We'll go to the casino and do some gambling. Yeah. Which honestly I probably shouldn't have done because all I did is lose money. But you guys went to the male revue.
Mm-hmm. So it was pretty good. We got like front row seat. We got there a little early. It was a lot of fun. If I'm being honest, I think the male revue guys individually were really good. As a group, they were just okay. Oh. Their choreography was not really like. And I later found out that I don't know if they were a group. Like, I think they just kind of like pulled some guys out of retirement.
I think some of them are probably still doing it actively.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like they took this group out of Vegas who performed together every week.
Yes.
And brought them on the ship.
Yes.
It was kind of like they pieced together a group, from what I understand.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, the male revue guys were all over the ship. We saw them.
Oh, they were partying. They were living it up.
They had the best fucking week. They were, there's no telling how much.
What they did.
Yeah. They were living it up. But for this case, it was really good. So I went. So at one point, they're like, if you want a lap dance, come get one. So me and Daphne, I was like, let's go. And she was like, no. She was so shy. And I was like, hell no, let's go. So the problem was like the lines were long. So there was one line that was kind of short. So I went and got in that line. I was the first one. Well, then the guy disappeared. Mm-hmm. And then, so I was like, okay, fuck it. I'll get in this other line. So I got my dance, which honestly was just okay. It was like, they were just trying to like get them done.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
So it was like they gave you like 30 seconds or something?
Yeah. But Daphne had my phone. And so we have a video of it in we would have posted it, but my pussy is straight out because I didn't have any panties on.
You were wearing like a little sundress or something.
Because we were ready for the night portion.
Right.
So we have like our glow wear on. So I have this like hot pink glow dress, pussy out everywhere.
Yeah. So you were on the stage on the Bliss Cruise, getting a lap dance from some random dude with your vagina just hanging out for everybody to see.
Yes, in the middle. Like, it's on the ice skating rink, so they cover it up.
Well, the funny thing is, you guys came back and I had lost like a few $100 and you're like talking about it. And I'm like, fuck, I should have just went. This sounds more exciting than what I got to see. I didn't know you were going to get pulled up on stage and danced on. I just thought you were going to watch dudes dance.
Yeah, and it was fun. They pulled a lot of people, so it was entertaining for sure. But I will say about halfway through, I was done. I was like, okay, I got my dance. I was over it. I was like ready to go party and have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So after that, so we went and got y'all. And then we had dinner before. I got out of order. Sorry. We had dinner before.
Right. We went to the dining. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. So after this, we went and changed because like I had that dress on. Glow is really EDM, like really ravey. And so I brought like a bodysuit, some fishnets, all that. So I changed.
Yeah, I think I had a polo shirt or something on. I changed into like a tank top.
Yeah. And we went up to
the top deck.
The top deck, yeah. I think, I'm trying to think. Oh, yes. I was trying to think. So one of the male dancers wrote on my boob. This is when do you remember this?
Right. So we get up to the top deck, we're dancing, and at some point, so me and you are right up by the stage. Party Mark was up there emceeing. Life was Spice was getting ready to DJ and stuff. So we wanted to be close.
At some point, I was on the stage.
Yeah. So we pretty much fought our way through the crowd to get up in front of the stage. Yeah, I think the Topless Travel people, Mark, pulled you up on the stage. Well, at some point in time, the male dancers showed up and they got up on the stage.
Every performer got up on the stage at some point. Yeah.
And so at one point, one of the male dancers comes to you and he's talking to you and I can't hear what he's saying. And then he breaks out a marker and like signs your tit.
So what he said to me was like, were you in my line to get a dance? And I said, yeah. He said, I'm sorry, I had to go change to get ready for I guess he was the first act after that. Yeah. So we had to go change. And I was like, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm good. I got to dance. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I didn't tell him it didn't fucking matter, but I was like, it's totally fine. No problem. He just, can I sign your boob? And I was like, okay. It was so weird.
And what did he use to sign your boob?
A Sharpie.
Like a permanent marker.
Yes. So he writes it. He goes, that's my social too. And like looks at me like dead in the eye. And I'm like, dude.
Like he left his Instagram handle on you?
Yes. I'm like, this is not happening. And this guy, I mean, he was very good looking.
Yeah. Good looking dude, but like, not like, this isn't Magic Mike. This isn't somebody anybody would know who he was.
No. Like, yeah. But he like would come, he found me every time, like the rest of the time. Like it was odd. I mean, it was fine. I was flattered, but I had to scrub that shit off though. I was pissed. Like later on, I was pissed.
I don't know if it was the next night or later in the night or the next day, but Lacey's in the shower going, that motherfucker wrote on me with permanent marker.
Because it was like right in my cleavage. Yeah. Like it was
right,
not.
You couldn't hide it.
No, I got it off. Don't worry. But anyway, the party was epic. They had the violinist out there again. It ended up raining at some point in it. My only critique would be they stopped the party to have the light show dancer. So there was like Illuminati. I don't know what you call I don't know. There's something. They had like all these things that lit up and they were like gymnasts and it was really cool. They did that first. And I think they were going to have the male dancers. I don't know. But they ended up stopping the party for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So the problem
which tend to be a theme throughout this cruise.
Right. The problem is everybody crowded into the stage and there was nowhere.
There was like
once everybody got in position, there's nowhere to go without basically stepping on people.
Yeah.
And so halfway through the night, they're like, you need to clear back because they wanted to use the glow dancers, whatever, the Illuminati, whatever they were called themselves. They wanted them to dance, but basically they had to clear like a 20 by 20 area on the dance floor to do that. And it was weird. It kind of killed the vibe.
It did. I mean, I understand because it was super cool. The lights, especially with all the glow stuff and everything, I thought it was pretty badass. And they had done like a full-fledged performance that we missed. So I'm glad that we got to see at least a little bit of it. But in hindsight, I think they should have put them up, like had everybody get off the stage and maybe put them up there by the DJ. So that way the party could continue. And if Bliss came to me and said, what is something that we could do different? That would be it. Right. I do get that they were really cool and they wanted to show off these awesome performers that they have. Listen, we host parties. We understand that. And so we get it. But I think they just, I don't know. It took something away from it stopping.
Yeah. We've done the same. But to be fair, we've done the same thing.
We have.
We've cleared dance floors to have dancers and stuff do stuff. And it always kind of goes the same way where it kills the vibe of the dance floor. And then once you do that, it takes time to then get that energy back. You know what I mean? So as a general rule, we try not to do that now.
So I was vibing. I was having a blast. I was dancing. I was sweaty as hell, but I was dancing. I was having so much fun. And you and Daphne and Mike were like ready to fuck. And so everybody was like, okay, playroom. And I was a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie, because I was having a lot of fun. Like Life of Spice was about to come on. He was out there ready. And I don't know, I was just having a good time. And so y'all were like, no, let's go. So we ended up leaving the party and went back to our room to change.
Into fuck clothes,
yes. And
then didn't we walk through the playroom and it was packed?
I think so. Most of every night we walked through the playroom. And
then we're like, well, shit. And then, so what we ended up doing is coming up to the promenade. So like we talked about before with where they did that party and play, there's a part of the top deck that was basically kind of a playroom. And so we went up there and fucked.
Which honestly is the best place to fuck in the whole ship because the air is coming through there. So it was so good. Compared to every other room there that was hot, having that breeze, it was amazing.
And it was never crowded either. Because I think it was a more public area, I guess. It seemed more like you were just fucking somewhere on the ship than it being like an actual playroom.
Yeah. And there was not a lot of people there. Again, I was still ready to dance. I was like I felt like I kept trying to wander and go out to the club, and I was in a pissy mood. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I could feel that energy.
Because you just wanted to fuck.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem that we always have is we are always kind of the leaders of the group.
Yeah.
And so everybody's always looking to us. And it's probably because we're usually, or me specifically, are usually the ones that are like, it's time to fuck. So it's almost like if we don't initiate that, then it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And so when I can tell like other people in the group are ready to go play or go to the playroom and stuff.
Do you feel pressure to like
make to like be the leader and be like, okay, guys, come on. So, otherwise, I think if you were like, you know what, I want to hang out and dance a little bit more before we go to the playroom, I would just be like, okay, cool, let's hang out and dance a little bit more.
Yeah, I was just.
But if we hang out and dance a little bit more, then nobody else will. They all want to go fuck, but they won't unless we go. Or generally speaking, people won't unless we go. So it kind of. I feel like torn like that where you have to go lead everybody.
Well, we used to be really good about 12 o'clock on the dot. We're wrapping this up and we're going to the playroom.
And people expect that from us now.
But not lately, but I mean like the last 6 months, year, I don't know, I guess maybe I enjoy music more. I don't know, but like not every time, but a handful of times I just genuinely am having fun. And I don't really want to peel away from it. Yeah. And this is one of them. It was glow night. We were in the middle of the Caribbean, the wind's blowing, Life of Spice's DJing. It's just, I don't know. So you ended up fucking Daphne and then me some. And then we ended up going back out there for a little bit.
Yeah. But at that point I could tell you were kind of over it.
Well, yeah, because like I had missed it and like not very many people were out there. Yeah. And I think at some point it had rained, which I'm not like a big like, I don't
dance in the rain. But
that would kind of have been like a pretty cool experience, So. And I even heard somebody, like we had dinner with somebody the next night and they were like, oh, we were out there and it was raining and we were jumping and it was like so cool. And think about like we've done that at Hito where we were in the water.
That's totally cool, yeah.
And it's so fun. It's kind of like one of those experiences that you can't really describe to somebody. You just kind of have to be in it.
Core memory experience.
Yeah, so I was like a little disappointed, especially because like it wasn't like I went and had this big orgy and did all these fun things. I mean, I love fucking you, but I could have fucked you after in our room.
Yeah, so and this is what happened, right? So we're all like, we're going to go to the playroom. And so we go to the playroom, but then like not everybody shows up. And then we end up on the promenade with just us and Daphne. Like, so it's like the whole thing kind of unraveled. And so turns out you were right. We should have just stayed and danced.
Which I love Daphne and Mike. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, nothing against them.
No,
yeah,
absolutely. It wasn't anything to do with them. I was just having like a really good time. And I don't know.
You can't win them all.
No.
You know what? It's kind of like the, choose your own adventure with the catamaran. This was a choose your own adventure. We chose to go to the playroom and have an orgy. And
I was not mad. I wasn't stomping my feet, or anything like that. I still had a great time. I just wanted to dance a little more. I think we've all been there. Afterwards, we ended our night at the Windjammer.
Which was classic.
Yes.
And then bed.
Yeah.
Okay, I think now's the perfect time to take a little break and hear from the partners and sponsors of the Swing Nation podcast. And then when we get back, I'd like to say, I think when we get back, we're talking a little bit about how Lacey got her groove back.
A little bit.
I think we're about to hit that time in the journey.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the first 3 days, I don't think you were 100%
I wasn't
in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the ebbs and flows that we went through the first couple of days is your headspace too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, guys. Lacey, we don't support brands and companies and things that we don't personally enjoy.
Yeah, we use all of our sponsors, like 100%. And so we very much enjoyed this one.
Yeah. So one of our newer sponsors is Shivers.
Yeah.
And specifically Shivers Intimacy Gummies.
Yeah.
If you're listening, if you heard our Kinky Cabin episode, we had a little experience with these intimacy gummies, and I can 100% guarantee you they work.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get like really messed up or anything, but it just like kind of makes you tingly all over, if that makes sense. Like I feel when I was coming, I almost had like goosebumps on me. It just, I don't know how to explain it, but it just kind of like makes everything very sensitive.
And it made me feel like I was 18 and needing to do all of the things.
Yes.
So if you are interested in THC based products and would like to try something that maybe would enhance your intimacy, we highly recommend going to shivers.store. And then if you use code TSN, saves you 10%.
Yeah.
Right. So go check them out. Shivers.store, code TSN. Check out those intimacy gummies.
Yeah. Get you some, take them like at home with your spouse, just to try it out. Like maybe go to dinner, take it on the way home, let it all kind of like, like soak in. And then by the time you're ready to hit the bedroom, you're going to be like ripping each other's clothes off. It's really hot.
Right. And then once you have that experience, I want you to email us at TheSwingNation@gmail.com and tell us what you think of the intimacy gummies.
Yeah.
I promise you're going to enjoy them.
It was fun. My favorite type of swinger is a safe swinger. One that has done all of the work before they even get to the club, before they get to the party, and they know that they are STI negative. They've got it all figured out before they walk in. So that way, when it's time to play, they don't even have to like skip a beat. They're just like, here are our results. You can look at them on my phone or you can look them up for yourself. We were tested. Everything came back negative. We're good to go. That's my favorite type of swinger. What about you, Dan?
I'm kind of one of those guys. If you want to fuck like a porn star, you probably should get tested like a porn star. And if we've learned anything over the last 4 years of doing this podcast, is not all tests are the same. The tests you're getting at your doctor might not be all the tests that you need if you're going to be actively participating in this lifestyle.
Yeah, if you go to your doctor and say, I need a full panel STD, STI test, that's whatever they think a full panel is. There's not like a rule book that says you should check for these 10 things or 12 things. Heck, we've been to some doctors and they have no idea what even should be tested for and what shouldn't. So your best bet is to use I Know My Status, because they know we're swingers. They know what we're up to. They've been testing porn stars for years. So they know how to get you tested and ready to go and have lots of fun.
Yeah, they really are the gold standard in STI testing for the adult industry. And swingers, we're fucking a lot like porn stars.
Yeah.
So those are probably the same tests that you need to be getting. So head on over to I Know My Status, get signed up. If you're in the Florida or Vegas or Orlando area, there's an office you can go in and get tested, and you get your results back as soon as the same day. If not, they have draw labs located across the country. Yeah. Where you can go and you can get tested. And same, they'll mail your result or your labs into the lab, and you'll get your results back. I think as soon as a day or two, depending on how long.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
The mail takes.
It's worth notating if you go to your family doctor and they're testing for basically everything, but maybe they're missing like a mouth swab or an MGen test, some of the newer things that maybe our family doctors are not
testing for.
Yeah, testing for. You can go to I Know My Status and just purchase those tests. You don't have to go and spend, a lot of money to pay for the whole thing. You don't have to do that. You can just go and be tested for the things that you need.
Right. Yeah. And you could even, if you want to, you could call them and say, hey, these are the tests I get from my local doctor. What am I missing?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would have a conversation with you about what they think you should be getting tested for. And then you can order just those tests and go get those done. So,
we had a friend not long ago that somebody that they were engaging with wanted her to be tested for MGen. They just go to their local doctor. They know they're swingers. It's not a big deal. And so they went to a draw facility in their town and just were tested for that one test. And of course it came back negative, no issues, and they were good to play.
Right. So go check out iknowmystatus.com. Go get tested like a porn star today so that we can play safe at our next event.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Lacy, we talk a lot on this podcast about lifestyle insurance and how it's very common for almost every male in the lifestyle to use some form of ED medication to make sure when that time comes that he cooperates.
Yeah.
So we highly recommend if you need ED medication that you go to Shameless Care for that. And there's a couple different reasons why. One, they're one of the cheapest on the market.
Yeah.
Right. So some of these other companies, they mark that prescription way up. Shameless Care is one of the cheapest. And the second thing I like that they do is they don't lock you into a subscription.
Yeah, it's really cool because when it's like almost time, like they think you might be needing some, they actually email you and say, hey,
Need a refill?
Do you need a refill? If you don't respond, you just don't get any.
Right.
But if you want some, you could just respond back to them.
Right. There's other brands where you pay this monthly subscription and they send you ED medication. The next thing you know, you got 15 bottles of ED medication sitting around the house. And your card is still getting charged monthly. And then to try to cancel it, it's a big pain in the butt. With Shameless Care, you don't have to worry about any of that, right? So there's no subscription. You just go to their website, you order it when you need it. If you don't need it, you don't order it again until you do need some more. So I love that. Shameless Care, lifestyle friendly, right? They got doctors in all 50 states that they know about performance anxiety. They know you're in the lifestyle. So go to shamelesskare.com/TSN. Get your ED medication subscription through a company that really understands the lifestyle.
Yeah, they do.
All right, guys, welcome back. When we left you, we just finished Glow Night, which ended up with me fucking you and Daphne on the top deck.
Yeah, which was actually, we didn't really talk about that much, but we held the bars overlooking the beach. Overlooking the water.
Okay.
There was a bar, which was a handle. Well, you could hold it and all you could see was the ocean out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what they call it? The promenade? Is that what it's called?
No, it's
the solarium.
Solarium.
Right. So what this space is meant to be is kind of indoor, outdoor sun deck area.
For adults only.
Right. But they had put these beds in place. And so where they had put the bed was just underneath one of the handrails to where you would kind of hold onto the handrail to look out the glass or whatever. Well, that handrail was just the right height so that you could hold onto the handrail while you were riding my dick, what would you, on top. So you got on top of me. You actually reverse cowgirled me, held onto the handles, and you're out overlooking the water as you're running that dick.
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
Not a bad way to end the night.
Not at all.
Even though Lacy wanted to dance.
Sorry, I was having fun.
Okay,
so day 4, we slept in because I think we've had a pretty late. Pretty much every night is a 2:30 night.
Well, I don't think Life's a Spice even came on till 1:30, something like that.
Yeah,
so.
And I think he went till 3. I don't know if they shut him down early, but I think his set was pretty late.
Right, so we hung out with him for a little while after we got done fucking. And it was pretty late by the time we got to bed.
Yeah.
And after we went and ate and then all that.
Yeah. So we slept in because this day we arrived in Puerto Rico and we didn't get there till noon. So we knew we're not morning people. So we were able to sleep in, go have lunch, and then not really rush to get off the ship, but kind of took our time. So you had never been to Puerto Rico. I had went once on a cruise years ago. And so I was really excited for you to go because I remember it being one of my top favorite stops on cruises before. Just really good sightseeing and stuff. So super excited about that. So we really just got off the ship and wandered around.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of it?
I don't know. So if I'm being completely honest, to me, a lot of those ship stops are similar. They're very similar.
They are very similar.
And most of it is shopping, which I really don't care that much about anyway. So like Puerto Rico was beautiful. That stop was beautiful. The cobblestone streets. There was like a castle thing there. So super pretty city. But
you're not into shopping.
I don't really care.
Yeah. We did find this little shop.
If it was me, I probably would have went and like explored the forts and like the history part of it. Yeah. That would be me, but nobody else wanted to do that.
Well, it was really hot and humid, and we had saw another couple, and they were like, "It's a lot of walking, and it's all uphill." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that."
You're like, "Let's go shopping instead."
But it was still fun because we got to explore the city. So we kind of
walking around the city was fun. It is a very beautiful area.
Yeah. We did find this like little bar, and they had super cheap drinks.
But you're not even going to talk about the purses.
Oh yeah. So we ended up buying a bunch of fake designer bags.
It turned into a whole thing. This is how we spent our day. We're like, oh, we walked around the city and it was so beautiful. No, we went from purse stand to purse stand so that you and Daphne could find the perfect fake purse.
Yeah, but we still saw the city while we were doing that.
That was the day in Puerto Rico.
No, we saw the city.
We did. I mean, we did. We walked around, but most of the reason we were walking around was to go find all these purse stands and see what they had. Yes or no?
That's the way you look at it. I look at it as we explored the city, and while we were doing that, we stopped at the shops that seemed appropriate for our
that had fake
shopping journey. Yes. Okay, leave me alone. But we did find a bar.
Right. So after we get done shopping and finding...
Well, in the middle, because remember we went back and got...
the perfect 3 purses.
Yeah.
Then we were walking back to the ship and we're like, you know what, let's sit down.
Yeah.
Because we had some time before before we had to be on the ship. We're like, let's sit down and let's drink some margaritas in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. Like that seems, something like that seems, and I don't even know if margaritas are really like but every single bar had them. So it seemed to be a thing. So
it was just drinks. I mean, like fruity drinks. So yeah.
Well, but they were all advertising their like special margaritas.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, we sat there and got drunk basically and ate cheese dip and salsa.
And they had good margaritas.
Yeah, they were.
And you say cheap, they weren't really cheap, but they were cheap compared to the cruise ship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's true. It was fun. We were probably there for like 2 hours or so, and then after we had got drunk, then I went back and bought 2 more purses.
Yeah,
because I just needed more. And then we got on the ship.
Correct.
Yeah.
So our Puerto Rico day was purse shopping. Okay. And drinking margaritas.
We get it, Dan. Thank you. Okay. So after that, we get on the ship and we really just wanted to relax. I mean, we were kind of tired and stuff, but we had planned a dinner with a couple of content creator friends.
Yeah.
People give content creators a bad rap. I actually saw this one couple post on Reddit, hey, looking for content creators that are going on Bliss. People tore him apart because like, how dare they be a content creator and go to a lifestyle party? But somehow we were able to connect. So a friend of ours connected them, but then I realized that was who had posed. And then, so it was us, Daphne, and then that couple, and then they had some friends there as well. So we all had dinner. This themed night was it's Lord of the Jungle theme.
Right. Which is basically animal print stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot, like Daphne was like, said Jane and Tarzan. I was like, I'm just wearing animal print. That's just too hard.
Some people did go in like full, like a lion or an elephant, or like some people went, they were an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that was super nice to meet them. And yeah, we got introduced to them by a mutual friend.
Yes. And it's, for us, it's like networking. It's also really neat to sit down with someone and find out what they do differently, because what we do, we've just taken little pieces from all these different people and just applied it to ourselves. And after that we did TikToks. We each night we were doing TikToks in the playroom. So you can, if
you see couples in animal print, that's the couple
that's
we're
talking about.
They're on our TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. And then they had a conjoined room, which was pretty cool to go see. And they had put up like a fake glory hole in their room so they could do like content themselves in their room, people, not not where people can see privately. And so I made a couple of we all made a couple of TikToks
with the glory hole.
Yeah. I think TikTok didn't like those very much, right?
No, yeah, I think it got flagged. Yeah, of course, but
yeah,
it was still pretty funny.
Yeah.
We don't, we've only done one ever glory hole content for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I think we need to do that again.
We could totally make that thing that they made.
We need to do, like, next time we have a hotel room with 2 rooms, we need to do something like that. That'd be fun.
But it's funny because like the comments are like, I see the walls moving.
Yeah, because it was like a sheet. It's almost like they'd taken like wrapping paper or something.
Yeah.
It was like brick.
But it was actually pretty genius. And you could really use it. Like if your friends were next,
no, I think they were using it.
Yeah, no, they really were. But I'm saying like, not because you wanted to film content, but like if your neighbors just were next door and you wanted
if you just wanted to have a glory hole experience, it totally would work.
Oh, it totally worked. Yeah. After that, we went to the Viking Lounge again for DJ Life of Spice. This was by far one of my, this, and we did it one other night. We've already talked about that. But this Viking Lounge with him and the violinist was like one of my favorites.
Actually, I think I said the last time that was my favorite night, but I think this time actually was a little better because I think everybody now understood what was going on, right? The first time everybody's like, why is there a DJ in here and a violinist? And then this time everybody's like, oh, this is a fucking EDM party. Let's party. Yeah. So I think the second night definitely was a little higher energy than the first night even.
Yeah. And he's actually posted some videos. One of the videos I saw, you can see you in the video with your shirt off and you're talking to the owner of Bliss. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I couldn't really make me out in the crowd, but I could definitely make you out. But it was just a really fun time, just like dancing and having fun. This is the night that the owner came up and grabbed my face and said, Lacy. And then I met the owner's wife in the bathroom and she was really sweet. So it was just really fun to hang out and dance and party and all the things.
Yeah. Again, that smaller club, and then with the EDM kind of vibes and,
it's so
a group of people that shared that energy, I think was a good time.
Okay. So while we're dancing and stuff, there is a couple of couples behind us. And one of the couples we know, like friends of friends, I had made TikToks with her just this past secret. So like a couple weeks before this, we had done some group TikToks and stuff, but the other people I didn't know really. But we had been talking and chatting with them throughout the evening because the way our seats were sitting, they were right
directly behind
it. Yeah. So we, had chatted and stuff. And Daphne and Mike had already gone to bed. And me and you were sitting there we were getting our stuff ready. And I don't know what happened, but somehow we said we're going to the playroom.
At some point, I think we were just done. And I was like, well, do you want to go to the playroom and fuck? And this time, I don't know if it was the dancing. I don't know if it was the energy. I don't know. Again, I don't know what stars have to align necessarily to where you're in this headspace. But you were like, yes, I want you to take me to the playroom and fuck me. And then I was like saying goodbye to those couples that were behind us. We were saying goodbye. And I don't know if it was me or you said, oh, we're going to the playroom. And they said, oh. And I think you said, do you guys want to come with us? Like you invited them.
Well, I thought they were coming too. And they were like, so I misunderstood, but it was the best misunderstanding ever because I didn't quite realize what happened because then all of a sudden everybody's getting up and we're going together. And you were like, you invited them. And I was like, I did? You were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I was 100% like down for it.
Right. I was just saying goodbye. And I don't even know if I mentioned, and they're like, goodbye. And you're like, yeah, we're going to the playroom. And I was like, yeah, we're going to go to the playroom and fuck.
Maybe I said, are y'all coming?
Right. And you're like, are you all? Yeah. And you're like, are you guys coming? And they like kind of looked at us and looked at each other and then looked at us. And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we change and we go up to the playroom and they're standing out. Well, first of all, they're standing out there in the one couple that we did not know, which I think this is worth mentioning because I thought this was like so stand up. Before we could even walk up, he was like, hey, I didn't know if like me and my wife were invited because we don't know y'all and stuff like that. And he's like, no hard feelings. If this just wants to be the four that knew each other, basically, no hard feelings. We're good. I just wanted to throw that out there. And I was like, No, y'all are fine. I mean, he was handsome. She was beautiful. I was like, but I thought that was like real stand up because we all know those people that just kind of tag along, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I really thought that was worth mentioning because not everybody does that. But they told us that the playroom was completely full. So somehow
No, I think it was getting ready to close.
Oh.
I think if I remember, I think they were like, "Oh, it closes in 10 minutes," or it was something like that.
Oh, okay.
And they're not letting anybody else in, I think.
Oh, okay. So somehow we decided to go to our room, which is again out of our norm because we don't usually have orgies in our room.
Right. So we're like, let's go fuck. And we all like, where else can we fuck? And we kind of all like look at each other. And I think we were all thinking the same thing that, well, I don't want to suggest my room because it's trash.
Yeah.
And we're like, so I was like, well, I guess we can go to our room. And I knew we had the balcony room and it's a little bit bigger than some of the rooms. So I was like, we can go to our room. And they were like, okay, yeah. And then as we're walking into our room, we're like, hey, it's a little bit trash.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's why we didn't want to do our room because it's trash. It's fine. It's totally fine. So I think we were all kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah. And we all, it was awesome. We all fucked and it was amazing.
Yeah.
One of my better experiences from just like essentially strangers. Cause like I did know the one girl casually, like not like.
Yeah. I went back and looked at their profile. I didn't realize they've been to quite a few of our parties.
Yeah.
So I've seen her and I recognize her
She's
from
really
Secrets.
good friends with Southern Bella. So, and I can remember, I've seen her a bunch and I remember this last Secrets, her body looked really good. And it just, something, I remember thinking she had this like butter yellow bikini on and I remember thinking, damn, she looks good. And it really stood out to me. So I think I knew she was going on the cruise. I think Southern Bella had told me, but had no like, it wasn't really something that I thought about. You know, I wasn't like, oh, let's find them and play or anything like that. It just kind of happened. And it was surprisingly very good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
And for like three couples that didn't really know each other that well. Well, I think, and they had met on the cruise.
Yeah,
right?
they had met on the cruise. So I think they had already played at least once. Or I kind of got the impression that they had been hanging out throughout the week. So,
yeah. So for like, and this is, you know, before when we talked about the Bliss Cruise ahead of time, you know, one of the things I had mentioned was, you know, going into this cruise, I kind of want to go with the wind. And if it takes us, you know, like,
yeah,
I didn't want to overthink play. And I just kind of want, and, you know, I think because of your headspace, you maybe weren't as able to do that as much as I had hoped. But this was a good example of there was no overthinking. No. We just went with it and it was amazing.
Yeah, this was very much like YOLO. Like we're on the ship. Daphne and Mike are sleeping. They missed out.
You were squirting. I think everybody squirted. Yeah. All the girls were squirting.
Our bed was but I have a pro tip. So I laid in the spot that I slept.
So everybody squirted on my side of the bed.
Yeah. I squirted a little.
Oh, here's another pro tip.
But it was on my side. So it was like where my feet go. So like I'm down with sleeping in my own squirt. I mean, I don't want to. Let's make that super clear. But like if I'm going to, I'd rather it be my own bodily fluids than somebody else's. So that's what you do, ladies, if you play in your room.
Another pro tip, and we actually learned this from them. As we're getting ready to fuck, I was like, oh shit, we forgot our waterproof blanket. Because we have a waterproof blanket. Why we didn't bring it on the Bliss Cruise, I think we just assumed we were going to
We just don't normally fuck in our room.
We were going to be fucking in the playroom, so we didn't really worry about it. And so when we said that, one of the couple goes, oh, there's extra blankets under the bed. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, there's quilts under the bed. So we start digging underneath the bed. And sure enough, there's these two like pretty thick quilts. So we grabbed those and we put them on the bed. And thank God, because that bed would have been absolutely destroyed. Like those quilts got destroyed. And I think it got through a little bit on my side to the sheet, but not very much.
Mine. It didn't on mine. I slept great.
Had it not been for those, that bed would have been. Yeah. You've been sleeping in a
The
puddle.
only thing that I wish we would have done that we didn't do was like go out on the balcony.
That would have been
because that's fun, you know, to like fuck a stranger on a balcony.
See, this is this night. This is why I'm like, that's Lacy. Like I felt like this night encapsulated that. You weren't in your head. You weren't thinking about it. No. You were just going with it, and you were coming and squirting and fuck me harder, daddy. Like all of the things.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we got there.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either. And it's really hard for me to explain. It just like all the things, like I said earlier.
Probably didn't hurt that one guy had a giant, he had a giant dick.
He did. And he was on Trimax. And so it stayed hard the whole time. I mean, I don't want to discount the other guy because the other guy was really awesome too. And but the one guy was like, I'm not like a size queen at all.
You say that, but then you're always talking about big dicks then.
I'm not like disappointed if you have an average or smaller. I'm not disappointed. But when somebody like you don't expect it and all of a sudden they like pull out this big giant thing, you're like, whoa, okay, thank you. And that was kind of the situation. I didn't expect it. And so, and girls would rather be surprised than like a guy being like, oh,
I got a giant dick. And then you pull out a normal
it's just
dick.
an average dick. And then you're disappointed about an average dick.
Right.
But both guys were a lot of fun. I had a blast.
Under promise, over perform.
Yeah. And the women were beautiful and so sexy. And everyone just kind of like owned their. And one thing that I can remember, the one wife that had the curly hair, you fucked her and then used the wand and like she was making demon noises. She really liked it.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really hot. But it was a great time.
Yeah.
Did we go eat snacks? I feel like we didn't. This is like the one night we didn't eat snacks.
I think we were already in our room and we just crashed out, I think.
Yeah. Well, we still have 2 more days and I don't think we rushed them at the end of this podcast. I think we saved them for next and do 3 months.
Save for part 3.
Yeah, because I was a freaky girl the other 2 nights too.
You were.
So we need to really be able to talk about it.
Okay. All right. So Lacy got her groove back. I think that might be the title of this episode.
Yeah.
And it took just 2 random strangers who you didn't even think about.
You could put Lacy.
Who you accidentally invited to an orgy somehow.
I did. It was the best accidental invite ever. You
Accidental
could put
orgy?
Lacy fucked strangers. That's a good title. Oh, geez.
So I really think like up until this point, I was like, Lacy she's just not in the right headspace for this trip, I don't think. And then all of a sudden this just happened. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Like, where did this come from?
I don't fucking know.
And from that point on, it was almost like a light switch.
Yeah, it was.
It was almost, you were like, okay, I'm here. I can do this.
Yeah. I was overthinking. I was in my head overthinking just a lot. And you're right. As soon as this clicked, I felt much better, lighter. And I was like, I was kind of sad the cruise was over, but also like kind of ready to be home. Like, don't get me wrong.
Lacy's like, I'm ready to fuck now. Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you mean we have to get off the ship? This is bullshit.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. Yeah. But if anything, it made me like excited. We're going to Tempted this weekend. So when you hear this, it made me excited for this weekend. So hopefully, me and you have not had a lot of sex because I've not felt good.
You're still recovering from the Bliss Cruise.
I am.
If we're being honest.
Yeah, I am. And so we have had sex like very little since we got home. And so I'm curious to see how this weekend will go. And how the recap for this weekend will go. Because like part of me wants to go be like, wow, live it up again. But I also don't want to break my pussy again.
Well, time will tell. Stay tuned to the Swing Nation podcast to hear part 3 of the Bliss Cruise.
Yeah.
When Lacy gets her freak back.
Yeah.
And then 2, continue listening because we're going to Louisville, Kentucky this weekend for Swinger Society takeover of Club Tempted. And apparently Lacy wants to break her pussy again. And so
I don't want to break
see if that does or does not happen in Kentucky.
Yeah. I just want to have fun and laugh and dance with my friends. And Kentucky tends to
bring that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited. We got the DJ booth dialed in. I got all kinds of new toys, lights and LED screens. And I think this is going to be the most epic. Is that? It should be.
Yeah.
We have all the things in place for it to be a good party.
It is your first time with all this stuff.
None of it might work. I set it up in the office. I was raving in the back office here.
Yeah.
In our storage unit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it might take you like a couple of tries to like really
dial it all
in. But even if like half the stuff works, it'll still be really,
better
really
than nothing,
cool.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. So just set proper expectations. Don't be getting pissed off if something doesn't work right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, we have Splash Atlanta coming up, and they sell day passes. So if you're in the Southeast and maybe you don't want to come and stay at the hotel, or maybe you just want to come and stay down the road and just drive over if you're not super comfortable about being in that environment, you're just maybe new. I still think there's rooms available too, which is ideal. But either way, you can go to swingersociety.net.
Just get the room. Just get a room. If there's rooms available, just get a room. Because if you don't, what you're going to do is you're going to come on a day pass and you're going to be like, shit, I wish I had a room.
Yeah, for sure. Share with someone if you're comfortable doing that. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, swingersociety.net. And like Lacy said, if you maybe you just want to come to the pool party and just see what it's about, you're probably going to end up staying and want a room for the night. But just come out. I do like one of my favorite things about Splash is we're not the ones hosting the party.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot lower stress for us.
Yeah.
And so we usually have more fun, it seems like. Yes. Because we're not stressed about the back side of the party.
Yes. It's a good party. Like every one of our friends always go. So it's like builds in great time just because our friends are there. Not to mention Splash itself is a wonderful lifestyle business who throws not only safe but fun parties. And so hats off to them. We are huge supporters of Splash and everything that they do. So people ask a lot, what should be the first hotel takeover that we go to? I think Splash is a very organized. They kind of set the bar to some of these smaller hometown places. I think once you see a Splash and you go to like a smaller one, you're like, damn, that's really good. They were really good. Yeah. So that would just be my advice. They're just really cool people.
Absolutely. So go check out swingersociety.net. Come party with us in Louisville, and then come party with us in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we got events coming up in Houston. We're going to be at Naughty New Orleans. We're going to Hito. There's all kinds of. Somebody just booked Hito today, which I thought it was sold out. So there must have been a cancellation or something, and somebody got a room. So maybe there's still a chance you can get to Hito. Email admin at Swinger Society if you want to put.
We do know another friend of ours got last minute tickets too. Right. So I think people probably cancel and then they're able to slide you in those spots. So.
Secrets in September. We still have a couple of rooms left for that. Not many. So if you want to come, Secrets is always amazing. So swingersociety.net. We hope to see you guys at a party soon.
Yeah.
All right. I think with that, in a world full of apples,
be the pineapple.
Be the pineapple, guys.
Bye.
Bye. If you've enjoyed our podcast and want to support us, leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. If you want to see more of our content, you can find links to Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFans, and more in the show notes. Come join the conversation with us and other swinger content creators on our Swinger Society Discord server. If you have questions or feedback, email them to us at TheSwingNation@gmail.com. Make sure you head on over to TheSwingNation.net and keep up to date on all things Swing Nation. We thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.